Well, good morning, one Leeds, or good afternoon, wherever you are. It's Connor. We're near a bridge, a dark, murky, mank bridge, but it's a lovely day. A lovely, lovely day. I've got my iced coffee and we're just jauntering around, really. I've been updating the website today. We've got a Gabe article going on really soon, which I'd really advise you all to go and have a look at. We've got articles going up there, Left, Right and Charlie. We've got more merch. We've got a Tanaka new bit of merch, which will be on the website. We've got Patreon bits, which went up last night. Guys, the channel is flying. And I do these videos to talk to you guys as well, not to just make bullet point after bullet point. It's boring. Find that sort of content really boring. I like entertainment as well. And some of you do find me quite entertaining. So I know you like the old walkabouts and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, anyway, the whole point was I wanted to discuss a little bit of news, a little bit of what's going on with Leeds United, but at the same time, I want to have a little bit of a chat. And a lot of you guys come up to me in person and say you like even the shorter form because you feel like you're on a walk with me, the old walkabout. So that's pretty nice in itself. So other content creators just have point, and then other content creators have just mass discussions on theirs. And I'd advise you to maybe check out their sort of stuff if you want that form of content. Now, with all that out the way, yeah, guys, like I said, we've got more bits coming on the merch. I'd just like to say thank you to all of you. I got back, I had a couple of days off, and then I got back the other day and I was looking at the subscribers, and I'm not a massive looker of subscribers, to be honest. I don't look at it and think, oh yeah, it's like a metric of X, Y, and Z. It's like a measure. I just kind of look at the subscribers and I'm like, oh, it's nice. It's nice that I've got them. But I feel like ever since we've done the website and we've tried to, elaborate a little bit. I've had loads of Instagram messages, loads of Twitter messages from all of you guys, well, new guys who I've never seen before, saying, hey Connor, new subscriber to the channel, thanks for this, thanks for that, thanks for this, thanks for that. And it's been mad, absolutely mad. And I've just had a look, I'm on like 37.2, I think it is now as it stands. But I think during the window, a lot of you guys love the content, love the Patreon bits as well. And as I said, we're going to be doing giveaways, and it's just a big thank you to a lot of you, because at the going rate, we're going to close in on 40k, which I would never, ever, ever have imagined. So thank you so much, guys. The interaction on the videos and engagement is way more than it ever has been in terms of comments, in terms of likes, all this sort of stuff. So thank you so much again. Really appreciate it. And hello to all you new subscribers. But what I wanted to get into today specifically, because there is a point to the video, I'm not just going to be waffling on and just literally aimlessly waffling. I want to just put a thank you in there in a little bit, but I want to speak about Leeds United's transfer window, and there's a reason I wanted to speak about Leeds United's transfer window. It's because, was it a good one? Now, the reason behind that is because it looks like today potentially Willy Gnonto's got an injury, potentially. Horrible tackle on him in the game versus San Marino last night, and it didn't look good. It really didn't look good. He was brought off. Bad tackle from the San Marino midfielder, and it saw him hobble off, and it did get me thinking a little bit at half-time. That is, gingerly, supposed to be all right, but it did get me thinking. I thought to myself, do you know what? And we said this during the window, like if you get like a Willy Gnonto out, if you get like a Matteo Joseph out, it's mad, innit? It's a big loss. I mean, look, Ampadu can go to the back, but Pascal Strauch's, just how good he is, that'd be a massive miss, and then you'd miss Ampadu in the middle. And it did get me thinking about the rating of the window. We've spoken about that multiple times, but not just that, but the money that Leeds brought in. And interestingly enough, another content creator, Callum Fowler, Barnsley fan, so you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, but he did a little bit of a ranking system the other day, and he put Leeds bottom in terms of a window. And the reason he did was because obviously we sold our best 3 players from last season in Archie, Cree and Jorginho. But what we brought in, some would say is smart. I mean, others like Gabe would say we've got to wait and see what we're going to get there. Solomon's had a good first game. Ramazani looks good, but we've not seen enough of it. We've really not seen enough of it, and we're asking them to make a massive impact in terms of replacing that impact that we had from Rutter in particular and Crysencio Somerville. So I think when you look at the window and how much the owners pocketed, which we've spoken about this loads of times, like there's instalments to pay, there's Still transfer fees that Leeds are paying for from years ago. I think Dan James has just been finalised in terms of what they've had to pay and what they've got sorted for it, which is mad. But overall, it's a lot of money that Leeds, they've not made a lot of incomings, really, when you look at the amounts that Leeds have brought in, regarding players like Rodrigo and what did they sell him on for? Nothing. Brendan Aronson obviously was brought in for 30 million quid. Have we got the most back from that signing? No. But, there's a lot of sales that Leeds have, even this window, we've Mark Rocker, Diego Llorente, ones that we've got rid of that we've not made a lot from at all. So I do really think that a lot of the fees that have come in this window have been attributed and been passed on, to previous windows in terms of fees and what we've had to cover. But you can't get around the fact that Leeds had offered big money for Gus Hamer, and a signing like that, I feel, would have put Leeds in a little bit of a bracket above, and people would have gone, oh, okay. And what we have to say is as well, nobody really knew about Matthias Klick. Nobody really knew about Luke Ayling. Nobody really knew about Liam Cooper. Top players that Leeds have had at this level for cheap fees, they've not always been well-renowned players, and that's what we have to say as well, because I feel like unless you know the player, so unless a Gus Hamer's there, of which we're all aware of, and unless it's a big player in this division like Callum O'Hare was, I'm just listing Sheffield United players here, but players like that, people seem to think you've had a bad window, and I just don't think that's the case. I think you've got to look at the other contextual factors here when you're looking at Leeds' window as a whole. But I think it's maybe put a little bit of it, and I know it does with fans anyway. If a Willy Gnonto is to happen, which will happen during the season, you'll get some of our stars out. Do we have enough? I think we do in certain respects, but maybe we don't in others. Like, can you replace a Willy Gnonto right now for Leeds? I don't think you can, because I don't think Peru's is level, and I don't think Peru offers what Willy offers. And I also think at the same time, Brendan Aronson, in my opinion, doesn't have that technical ability and efficiency that someone like Willy Gnonto has. I don't think he's got the guile, the innovation, the creativity that someone like Willy Gnonto has. So I think it's a real mixed bag. I think, when our X Factor players are out, which potentially Willy Gnonto could be for the Burnley game, which would be massive, can you really replace that? And I think with vibes and all that sort of stuff, you look at it and you think, well, it's been a good window, but they have pocketed a lot of money here, the 49ers. But it does make you think that there's more to come. And should a window just be judged on what you do in summer? I'm not 100% sure. I think a window overall should be judged on what you do in January as well. So you're kind of halfway there, really. Did we act too late? I think we did in this window, but bringing in the players that we have done makes it for me like a 6, 7 out of 10 window. I think the goalkeeper will cause us more problems this season, which I think will inevitably lose us points. But how dominant Leeds are, should really keep the ball away from him, and the odd shot might go in, and like we saw against Portsmouth, and the odd mistake will happen with him, and I say odd, it's going to be more prevalent than not. And when you look at a striker, if Joseph is out, do we have enough? Because you've got to look at the profile that Peru is, the profile. Is he going to be able to come in for Matteo Joseph for a sustained period of time and replicate what Matteo Joseph does? I don't think so. So in that regard, you've not really developed the squad in that aspect as well. I think it's all well and good saying that Leeds have got a good bench, but having the specific profiles to replace certain personnel who are going to replicate what those individuals have given you, whether or not it's it's in terms of Matteo Joseph, good ball striking ability, athleticism, running in the channels, that's Joel Peru is something very different, and that's a classic example. Do Leeds have that even with a Willy Gnonto out? Pascal Struijk out, yes, we got X amount of clean sheets, didn't we? X amount of clean sheets with someone like, when Ampadu was in and Pascal was out, of course, but there's context behind that. A lot of context behind that. Bamford came in, Peru came in, Firpo came in. So it wasn't just Ampadu came in and then we got X amount of clean sheets. There was varying factors there. So, look, there's a lot to suggest that Leeds had a good window. But I don't think we can say at all that Leeds had a very good window or an excellent window. I think we had an average window. And is that really good enough when the Niners had 3 months to sort it out? Did they need to sell a Rutter? Did they need to sell a Somerville? Well, there was release clauses, there was exit clauses of which was problematic. But I guess another big bonus of what they did was Willy Gnonto signing the contract without an exit clause, and that needs to be taken into consideration here as well, because that is a good bit of business. Keeping hold of him really is like a new signing. So I guess time will tell. And you bring in a Gus Hamer, you bring in a Callum O'Hare. I don't know why those two are in my head at this moment in time, but you bring in these proven players at this level, and you can turn around and say, well, do you know what? That will work. Gus Hamer will work at Leeds. Callum O'Hare probably will work at Leeds. The certainties of players that have been in this division before and have done it at this level before, and that's where fans get excited when you buy your proven players. However, you've also got to look at your Joel Bruce, and would you say that has worked? But then the argument back to that is, well, has he been the profile that Leeds needed, or was it just a bit of a panic buy? So there's so many variables when you're talking about how good the window's been specifically, but for me, it's been an average window. And I guess when you look at maybe a Willy Gnonto been out, this all becomes a little bit more prevalent than what it would have been beforehand, because we're going to have to replace him in one of the biggest games of the season in Burnley. So yeah, a lot to contextualise there, guys. But what do you think anyway? There's so many variables, so many talking points with Leeds' window. What would you do in January? Do Leeds still need to invest heavily? They've clearly got the money to do so, but should that money have been invested right now? Because in January, could it be too late? Worst scenario, if the worst scenario comes to the fore. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Thank you once again. Check out oneleeds.com for all your latest articles, videos, etc., merch updates, and I'll see you in a bit.